Welcome back to Politics Tonight, everyone. Now, let's start tonight's conversation with second guest of the day. I am joined by the Commissioner for Information and Culture in Kebbi State, Yakubu Ahmed, for discussion on plight of people living with disabilities in northwest Nigeria. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, sir. Mr. Yakubu, can you hear me? Welcome to Politics Tonight. So let's start this way. Is there any peculiarities regarding the plight of people with disabilities in northern Nigeria and other parts of the country?
Mr.
Yakubu, did you get my question, sir? Right, let me repeat that. So I'm asking if there are any peculiarities regarding the plight of people with disabilities in northern Nigeria and other parts of the country. Mr. Yakubu, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Good evening.
Good evening to you, sir. So my question is there any peculiarities regarding the plight of people with disabilities in northern Nigeria and other parts of the country?
Come again? Is there what?
Is there any peculiarities regarding the plight of people with disabilities in northern Nigeria and other parts of the country? Is there any peculiarities?
The peculiarities in the north are obvious. Disability has been, with us for a very long time as a result of health implications, of course, polio and the rest of it. And in the entire scenario, we've been trying to curtail the consequences, the social consequences to the states in the north. In Kebbi State, where I'm the Commissioner for Information, we've been having to grapple with the problems of people with disabilities as a result of the economic downturn and as a result of our inability as a people in the couple of years back to organize ourselves and find a way out of the social problems we're having as a result of the preponderance of people with disabilities in our midst. But I think, although we have quite, problems with that, but I want to say here that the various governments in the north have been making headway, though very slowly, in trying to not just grapple with the problem, but to find a way out of it. In Kebbi State, for example, we've just held or hosted a BBC Hausa program, Afada Achika, which literally means promise made and promise fulfilled. During the program, people with disabilities came, it's like a town hall meeting. They have an organization and they make representation to the governor there and then. That there is this Persons with Disability Act 2018 that was enacted by the National Assembly since 2018, calling on governments across the country to establish commissions to deal with people or persons with disabilities. Quite a number of states have done that. Kebbi, in the past few years, nothing has been done. When the complaint was tabled before the governor during town hall meeting, he there and then promised to pass a bill to the State Assembly to work on the possibility of establishment of that commission. And we held that program on the 1st of January, New Year's Day. By the 3rd of January, the Office of the Attorney General of the state has already prepared a bill, executive bill, and it was discussed on the 3rd of January at the State Executive Council meeting, and already the bill has been sent to the State Assembly. And as we talk today, the bill has been read and it has been passed to the necessary, to the right committee of the Assembly, and the Assembly is working on it. As soon as they are done with it and it's returned to the government, to the executive arm of government, our governor, Dr. Nasir Idris Orangandu, has promised to sign the bill promptly in order that we establish the commission to take care of the interest of persons with disabilities.
Right, so we'll come back to some of these laws and how effective they are or have been. But let's talk about security. What impact do you think the insecurity ravaging some parts of the states have on people living with disabilities?
Well, wherever there are conflicts, you have vulnerabilities, people that are vulnerable, old people, children, people with disabilities. These are categories of people that are usually vulnerable to conflicts around the world. Here in Kebbi, we will not say it's a conflict per se, but we have acts of banditry in parts of the state, in the southern part of Kebbi State, where we neighbor Niger State, Sokoto State, and Zamfara State. And the problem affects almost everybody on that flashpoint. But I want to assure you or tell you that since this government came into office 7 months ago, we have seen a drastic reduction in the capacity of the bandits to wreak havoc on the people of the state. It was deliberate. Our governor, when he came, before this government came into office, we've been having quite a number of instances of bandit attacks here and there, and we've been having casualties amongst the ordinary people, among security agencies. But since this governor came, the narrative has been changed completely because he came up with solutions, with the ideas. He interfaces with security agencies at all the levels. And we recognize the fact that we do not have cells of bandits in Kebbi State per se. We have them crossing over from Niger State, crossing over from Sokoto State, crossing over from Zamfara State. On that flashpoint borderline, we have a local government, very big local government, large one, down to Wasagu. That's why we neighbor these 3 states. We'll be having infiltration of bandits into our state from these 3 states. That is exactly the situation. But measures were taken by the state government in conjunction with security agencies. Our governor came up with the idea of interfacing with security agencies, discussing new ideas and new methods of fighting this war. And at the end of the day, decisions were taken. I can remember that we've had military and other security agencies deployments in about 10 flashpoints in Kebbi State on that fringes of the southern part of the state. And through those deployments, we've been able to annihilate quite a number of bandits who, through ambushes, they used to come in and cross back. They cross into our state, perpetrate banditry, and cross back to their hiding places in those 3 states. But as a result of the action taken by our governor, with the support of the security agencies, we've been able to drastically reduce incidents. In fact, in the last 2, 3, 4, 5 months, no incident has been reported in any part of Kebbi State. In fact, I want to tell you this, that as a result of this reduction in the capacity of bandits to wreak havoc in our states, we are going to have a bumper harvest this year. In fact, we have a bumper harvest this year. As a result of the treatment our farmers have been having in the part of our states where we've been able to deal with or to drastically reduce the incidence of banditry in our states.
All right, so talking about these laws protecting rights of people living with disabilities, several of them, how comprehensive are they?
Come again?
I want us to go back to these laws protecting rights of people living with disabilities. How comprehensive are they? How comprehensive are these laws?
Well, we know the laws are national in nature. I told you it was an enactment of the National Assembly, Disability Act 2018. It was enacted since 2018. And the National Assembly called on all states to establish this commission. The essence, per se, is to provide the platform exclusively for these people to be able to assess. I'm talking about inclusivity in government. The idea is to provide platforms for them where they could become relevant become responsible members of the society through very specific should be given to them in terms of their education, in terms of their general welfare, in terms of their health, considering the shortcomings they have. It's like you having a Ministry of Women Affairs. A Women Affairs Ministry came into being purposely to take care of the interests of women. So therefore, a commission for people with disabilities is meant to provide access. To be able to assess, privileges from government. And I think in the case of KBC, we have a preponderance of disabled people that are educated at first degree and second degree levels. They are many in KBC. And that is why having a commission for them and having them to run their affairs by themselves largely, I think that is likely to impact positively on their, on efforts by government to take care of their welfare. And I think, as I said earlier, quite a number of states have done that. Cape is just joining when the government people with disabilities, the government responded positively, and in the next couple of days or weeks at most, we want to have that commission in KBC.
All right, Mr. Ahmed. And now the President Tinubu promised to ensure inclusive governance for all segments of the society. How well do you think he has gone with this?
Come again. I can't hear you very well. Sorry?
The President promised to ensure inclusive governance for all segments of the society. How well do you think he has gone with this?
Sorry, you have to come again. Sorry.
Did you get that? The President,
okay, come again.
President Tinubu promised to ensure inclusive governance for all segments of the society. So I'm asking, how well do you think he has gone with this promise, especially for people with disabilities?
You see, people with disabilities, like we have in the case of children, women, and the elderly, as I said earlier, they belong to a group that is vulnerable to vagaries of problems. They need special care because, number one, we run a democracy, and democracy is about taking care of everybody, interest of everybody. I think if we are going to be serious about dealing with a problem like begging, despondency, and such problems that exist among this vulnerable group, it is essential, very, very essential, for the government at the national level, at the state level, and the local government, in fact, at community levels, to come up with issues, with solutions that will address the fundamental problems of people with disabilities. Until that is done, we're not serious about inclusivity, we're not serious about economic development, we're not serious about taking care of people with vulnerability. And I think at the federal government level and the state government level, as usually, the government has shown a tremendous capacity and commitment to come up with solutions, with legislation, with other measures like establishing offices and commissions, establishing ministries, social departments in the states to be enhanced, and institutions to be given the right push in order to address the fundamental problems associated with people that are vulnerable to economic disparities, vulnerable to social problems, vulnerable to issues of inclusivity. And I think the government at the federal level has done quite a lot in that. And I want to believe that the government that have established the commission also have proved to be very serious about dealing with those problems.
Right, so let's now talk about some recent initiative by the Kebbi State Governor, Nasir Idris. He sent an executive bill to the state's legislature for the establishment of the Commission for Persons with Disabilities. What is this bill about?
Come again, sorry?
The state governor, Nasir Idris, sent an executive bill to the state legislature for the establishment of the Commission for Persons with Disabilities. So I'm asking, what's this bill about?
Well, if I heard very well, the issues here, particularly the issues that convinced our governor, Dr. Nasir Idris, to promptly address the issue of people with disabilities when the complaints were tabled before him there and then, was, of course, to address those problems, as I stated earlier. Not just that. Kebbi State is agrarian. Kebbi State is Nigeria's potential food basket. We produce rice in we're talking about not providing the kind of education required to uplift people with disabilities, but to expose them to other forms of economic independence by encouraging them to go into not just skills acquisition, but to go into large-scale agriculture. We have the land. River Niger crisscross into Kebbi about 100 kilometers. River Rima crisscross into Kebbi about 230 kilometers. River Ka snakes into Kebbi about 230, 40 kilometers. That tells you that we have the land, we have the potential, we have the capacity to produce the rice we eat in Nigeria. And I think bringing in people with vulnerabilities, particularly in the area of providing them with the soft loan, providing them with land preparation, providing them with the capacity to do large-scale farming, in conjunction with other categories of people, elderly, young people, women. I think that is likely to impact on the issues of food security in Nigeria. The idea is to bring everybody on board. Everybody that has the capacity to contribute one or the other should be brought on board to help navigate through these murky waters of the problems we are facing in Nigeria. Economic problems, social problems, security problems, and all that. Because if we raise the bar, if we are able to provide the food we eat in Nigeria, not just rice, Kebbi still has the capacity to produce wheat in the quantity required to establish wheat processing plant. Like we are doing now, we have a number of rice mills in Kebbi, about 75 of them, big and small-scale rice mills in Kebbi. The same thing we can do because we have the land that will be able to produce the seed, the right wheat. We also have the capacity to also cultivate sugarcane, which means we can also have sugar-making factories in Kebbi State. On the whole, we're talking about coming together, all of us, all Nigerians, on all parts of the country, to have to give special consideration to raising the capacity of people with disabilities through education, through software, through inclusivity, so that together we can deal with our common problems. Our common problems: food security, insecurity, economic problems, and all that.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Ahmed Yakubu, for speaking with the Commissioner for Information and Culture in Kebbi State as we discuss the plight of people living with disabilities in the northwest Nigeria. Thank you so much for coming on Politics Tonight.
Thank you very much.